Hey guys, it's Kevin with Team Heck Yeah RC, back with part 2 of the Trailfinder 2 long wheelbase build. Sorry, it's been a crazy couple of weeks and I haven't been able to put anything out. Just been crazy with life in general. We'll get right into this with the plate here. Okay, M3x8s are needed. Okay, so first we need 4 M3x8s, some blue Loctite. Don't need to use too much, but I've got, whoops, okay. Well, those ones are actually for the round ones. Just quick thread in for that one. Okay, and then we need the countersunk M3x8. Got right here. Need 2 of those. Okay, so and yeah, I did put those on backwards. Oh. Good thing we can quickly change that out. Now with these little square posts, you gotta watch, they are directional. They have, you want your screw holes to the top for your servo mount, for the shifter. Okay, I'm not going to over crank them into the tightness, that way I can adjust them later on and then tighten them up further. Undo these 2 and put them on correctly. Now the thread lock will still be wet, so I won't need another application, thankfully. Just loosen that screw off. Go. Next page. Okay. M3x6. Need 4 of them to mount this to the chassis. There we go. There's the 4. Now, on here it shows the mounting going, so your back 2 screws will go here and your front 2 go right here. So it kind of straddles your T-case mount and everything. Won't fully tighten them until it's all lined up with all 4 screws. Go. Okay, next is the electronics box. This is held in by some M3x8s. 4 of those guys. Okay, so electrical box requires M3x8, the countersunk. So with this box, it's got a couple of positions, but I want it centered. Won't tighten them fully. Just that way we can get everything aligned. Again, using thread locker as we're going metal on metal. These ones that are a little deeper in will be a bit more challenging to get, but very much doable. Don't mind. Okay, so now tightening them all up. I'll go through and tighten up the ones on the chassis plate as well. Okay, I will not be putting the body posts on as this won't be requiring those posts. It will be doing a little different style. And when the body comes in, some things will get changed up. Okay. Truck's already got some good weight to it, so that's the thing. I want this truck as scale as possible for Class 1. Won't be doing the rear bumper mounts yet either, as I'm still debating on bumpers. So we'll do those later. Next is the transfer case. So we get this handy coupler that goes on the side with the single output or input, depending on how you like it. And then a M3 drive pin, which I have right here. Just wanted to make sure I was grabbing the right ones. Need the smaller driver, the 1.5 for this one. Again, thread locker, especially on your drive pins, as you don't want those coming out during a run. Oh, that's... what the heck? Okay, there we go. Make sure you pay attention to which side threads. One side's got threads, one doesn't. Next, we will slip it in and the bearing into the barrier carrying. That's the barrier, small, sealed. Okay, so that actually goes, we'll flip the truck over. That's a lot more stable, and the bearing goes in the carrier on the back side, which to me makes, oh yeah, that makes sense. Looking at it now, put the transfer case with the shaft. Oh, what the heck? Feels like there's a flange on the shaft end. Just use some sandpaper to smooth that tip out. Hopefully that'll help. If not, we can use a little bit of grease. Holy. Huh. Wonder how many other people are going to have this issue. M3 by 6. We'll get this mounted at least to the transfer case and chassis. Struggling here with the bearing. I will figure this out here once I have this mounted up. Again, thread lock, not over tightening. Just tight enough as to not strip anything. Okay. A little tube of grease. Actually, where's some shock oil? That would be a little better, actually. Easier to clean up. See if some lubricant helps get this on. Part of me wonders if they sent the wrong size bearing. Because this will not fit one bit. Yeah, I think they sent the wrong bearing in this kit, which I'll have to get a different one, but that's okay. I can do that on a later date. As long as I don't put the drive shafts on, I can still get that bearing on to make it easier. Okay. So, till I have this figured out, we will skip the bearing for now. I'll put it aside. Next are the transmission mounts. So, we need some M3x8s, 2 of them. Now this we want to be certain on, make sure we're doing it so its the right mount is on the right side. Okay. So the first mount we want is the big wide one, and it would be going on the motor mount side of the transmission. These screws are a bit of an odd angle to get at, but doable. That one's first one in, not snug. That way I can get second one in. There we go. Now tighten them both up. Get them in. And then the next page, where we mount the other side using 2 M3x8. And these are the countersunk ones. So, we'll do this one. Want to get started. I don't want to snug it up too tight yet, so I can get the other screw in. Okay. There we go, both mounts are in and in their right position. We'll set the transmission aside. Next, we will mount leafs to the front and rear axles. Now, I've already done the rear axle as it's the same process as the front. But one thing ever to make sure of, remove the screws that are in the axle already. I noticed that, and even in the instructions it says to watch and make sure you remove those screws. So we'll get the screws ready here. So we need 4 of the M3x16s and 4 of the Nylock lock washers, as well as your leaf spring package and your axle. Take these screws out. Now I noticed it takes a bit to break them free as they were tightened by machine. Now these screws I will be keeping, as you never know when you need a spare screw. And finding a screw this small, well, I'd rather get 8 for part of the kit and keep them than have to go out and buy some when needed. Now I am using the stock leaves on this kit. Down the road, when upgrades are done, I am sure we will change leaves out, and after we get the truck mainly assembled, we will go over some modifications to the leaves. We can actually cut 45-degree bevel on the leaves to help where the shackles mount to help keep them secure and offer some more flex. Okay, now one thing I've noticed while doing the rear leaves is can't get a T-wrench in there, so you'll need some pliers to hold the lock nut in place. Get it tight, back it off, and tighten again to maximum tightness. Okay, repeat for next one. Okay, next nut. Let me try and get it started here. There we go. So yeah, these nuts don't protrude much, which is nice. Means less to hang up while on the trail. Back off once again. And retighten. There we go, there's one side done, and we will do the next side. Line all the holes up in the leaves. Now, I did post earlier today on the Facebook page of some brackets I made. Oh, get these started and remove the screws from the other side. But yeah, so I made some brackets over the weekend and to mount to the walls and hang all my trail trucks up. That way I don't have flat tire issues and flat spots on my tires, because that tends to wreck them. So if you want, check out Team Heck Yeah on Facebook to see the brackets and get an idea for doing it yourself. And if people would like, I can make a how-to video on how to make your own wood wall bracket for suspending your trucks off the tires. Just to help everyone out to protect their trucks and keep everything running smoother and longer. They aren't too hard to do. All you need is some 1x2, some screws, and some good wall anchors if you can't find a stud. And in older houses, studs are a little trickier to find, I have discovered. Let's just say, while mounting the TV in the living room, I discovered my studs weren't 16 or 24 inches apart. Yeah, they were 21 inches apart. Made it a nightmare. Okay. So the front leaf package is pretty much done now. This is where having a vise or something would be handy, but for those like me, you make do with what you have. Okay, so the first step is mounting the front leaves into their respected homes. This will be an easy process as everything has lock nuts, and this will also show how to do the difference. Okay, so there's the nuts that can, and 3 by, I can't remember what these were when they came with the kit for the front leaf reversal, but these are the ones that came with it. Get these in, tighten them up, and then mount the back side. Now I might switch these over to a shorter screw as these have a lot of thread hanging out, and I feel that would get caught up on the trail. Okay, there's that one. Okay, now shoulder screws. For the rear. Now these are the reversal kits. You were using the stock shoulder screws, or the screws that hold the leaves on the rear, which helps. Won't have any slop in there. Again, use the M3 thread lock screw. And that uses a bigger driver than that one. I believe that's the 2.5. Yeah. Now something I noticed that these step screws like to do, even on semis, is pop off the shoulder. So it's good to be able to hold them in place. This one up a bit more. There we go. Okay, so there's the first side done. And we'll do the other side and move to the rear. And once the rear is done, that will be it for today's video. Okay, there's the M3x15 step or shoulder screw, as every instruction book calls them differently. Okay. These you don't need the thread lock on as much because of the lock nut screw, but if you want, you could throw some on there just to be safe. Okay, so there's the front suspension. For the most part, all done up. Good amount of travel. Once the shock's on there, there will be a little more clearance. Next, we will move to the rear. Okay, so the rear, we use we'll start with the shooter shackle end. Get them mounted up. here's the rear leaves and axle assembly. As I said, I built these off camera just to make everything smooth there for the video and to cut down some time. So it's the exact same process as on the front. Okay, the shooter shackles come with little bushings to go into the leaf so they don't wobble around as much. Now, the question is, how tricky are they to get in there? And they're proving to be tricky. It's like they're threaded. Well, they aren't threaded, they're just a little tight. You gotta line them up just right. You don't want to force it though, because you can strip the threads on the screws. And then you're replacing screws, which never is fun. See, that one went through quite nicely. That one can go back in. Ooh, you want to be tricky. There we go. There we go. There's the one side done. Get the screw on, that way it can suck through. Or the nut, I mean. There we go. So with this, a little force is required. There we go, there's the first side. Now the second side. From the different end. These are very tight fitting. This is where I wish the shoulder screw would fit, but they don't. Just try with the pliers here. Ooh, this is being stubborn. I don't want to break anything. Try from an angle. Sure what's going on here. It does not want to line up. I am trying to screw it in, and it just won't screw in. I don't want to ruin the threads on this screw. It's almost like the spacer is the wrong one, but it isn't. Because now I got it through most of the way on now. Okay. There we go. So a little force is needed, which isn't the best thing, but there we go. Now, it did create a flat spot on the threads, which will make threading them on a little challenging, but doable. Okay, so there we go. A little bit of a challenge, but hey, who said this was going to be easy? Okay, next is mounting everything to the Z-blocks. And these use just normal screws. And no, there were no spacers included for these. So there will be a bit of play. There we go. Again, I'm using 16mm M3s with 2 lock nut washers. Screw in, and then I will show you the flex offered with these Z-blocks and shooter shackles. Okay, so here's how the truck would sits as is. Okay, suspension stiff, hasn't been worn in yet, which is pretty normal. So, I wonder. I think, yeah, okay. Shooter shackles got mounted backwards slightly, so we'll just turn them around quickly. If possible. turn them around. Or were they mounted backwards? Now I'm questioning that. Nope, I have mounted right. So that's the thing with these, you can set them up to be one way or the other. That's the nut. There we go. So, with the stock suspension, you'd normally get a little bit of flex. Now with the shooter shackles and Z-blocks, you can actually gain clearance, drop, and additional flex. Can't really see it that well until we have a body and wheels and everything's complete, but there we go. That is the TF2 long wheelbase. We are now at the stage of suspension's almost fully complete. Next episode we will finish the suspension and go on to mounting the motor, transmission, and a few other parts. This is Kevin from Team Heck Yeah RC. Remember to enjoy the hobby and have some fun. Thank you.